Trying to do the whole YouTube thing. The meeting is being live streamed. There we go. All right, I think we're going live. So good morning, YouTube. It's 9:28. We've got 2 minutes to the bell. Usually in pre-market, I'm pretty good about going through and putting together a pretty solid watch list for myself in the group, but this morning was a little bit different. Felt a little behind in looking at stuff that was from yesterday and longer term stuff. So with that in mind, let's share some of the stuff that we're looking at. We're looking for a few things. PPSI, I want to see if we can maintain above this 968. You can see here that we've got a potential demand zone down here. The first expectation would be that people would be taking profits as we're really, really high in the buy cycle, and the anticipation is a flush. We have CPIX that looks like it's trying to maintain this $4 level from inside of the pre-market. So we're looking for this to be potentially building based on supply and demand. We're just looking for this to be demand. So again, we are below VWAP, and I'm expecting this to potentially pop up one more time and then come back down and retest this area. ISPC is starting to look interesting. We're kind of starting to ramp up a little bit. We've popped up and just went sideways, kind of building just below VWAP. I really like that pattern when that happens. You get a pop up and then just accumulating a test of previous levels, and then building below it a couple more times, and then maintaining it. So we'll see if we get some continuation from here. But obviously ISPC is way high, pie in the sky, but potentially looking for $40 on it if we can maintain these levels. So first target is obvious selling pressure, which is right here at 23.80s, then 25. MTTR is also another one that I've been watching. And that's why taking profits at those obvious selling pressures is awesome. All right, so we are open. Don't see a whole lot that is moving. I do like that CPIX hasn't moved yet. It's potentially building off of these lows here. Nice little wick and a hammer off that 15 EMA, so we could potentially look for continuation on it. We've got levels from a few months back that we identified yesterday, and we played this yesterday after hours. So we'll see if these levels can break, hold some kind of pattern, and then potentially get that bullish momentum on the way up. BFRI was another one that kind of I'm still kind of watching. I've got my main watch grid over here of all the stuff that we've been trading the last couple weeks. I'm watching for continuation on KOLD. I want to see if HUT can maintain VWAP and continue back up. We've got potential accumulation on that one. I'm struggling with Windows 11, but BFRI right now is ripping. Looks like they had earnings today. Let's put that one up, BFRI. So since it just happened yesterday, we can go through our chart and check out the FRI. We can look for targets on it. So we can just go ahead, since we're kind of in the opening portion of the day, we'll just go ahead and just snap some lines. There's one there, 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 there. Quick and easy. Turn that last one to red, we're good to go. Can you guys see my screen okay? All right, I'm lagging something fierce. All right, change that. That's kind of like the end game target 970. And we'll see if we can get an idea of sentiment. Man, that's terrible. It's lagging really bad. CRXT. Wonder where those levels came from. 807 looks like a level that we marked out before, and ISPC is about to hit 25. You can see here, even though we've got a lot of selling pressure happening, we have a high wick, low wick, high wick. So you're anticipating that this low wick is no longer justifiable in thinking that that's going to be the selling pressure. Now we're looking at this high wick because you broke through that level. Once the level is broken, it's no longer valid in supply and demand. However, you see that I don't really take them off, but now when they're below it, I'm looking at those areas as potential resistance. So that's how those flags happen. So you've got previous areas of interest, and then once we get into those areas, now you're looking at that as like where the flags are going to be happening, and we can look for levels to hold, and then look for confirmation on either CCI or whatever systems that you guys use for confirmation. MTTR is just still ripping. That thing is a beast. We slayed that one yesterday. Went for a couple of dollars on it, and we're kind of right back into that zone too. So that might be a decent range trade. This is if you see something that's in chop, just going up and down, up and down, up and down, you look for that range to hold next time it gets there. So I could show you an example. Well, let's pull up MTTR and see if that's an example of a range. Yeah, I'm not trading this first 20 minutes or so. I'm just gonna let things shake out. Pre-market was a little quiet. I'm still watching KOLD here. Or I should say I'm still holding some cold here. MTTR. Let's see where we're at. So MTTR, I traded it from 29 to 32, 33. And you can see here that we've just kind of held this range right here. I didn't pull the chart up until just now, so I didn't know that we were already above where we were trading yesterday. But right here, we're kind of going down, up, down, up. This would have been, if we didn't break out of this box here, that would have been something that you range trade. So you trade it when it gets to the bottom, then you sell it at the top. Comes back down to the bottom, sell it back at the top. And you can trade that chop if you can identify it early. So on that one, we're already above all of our previous price action. So I think this is also a recent IPO. Yep. So same thing as everything else. We've got a pop up. We've got a base on the 15 EMA. And we're going to go ahead and draw our Fibonacci lines, because the only reason, again, for the Fibonacci lines is because it's already beyond anything else that we could use. So you've got a move here that you could use. You've got weekly deviation up there that kind of matches right with this $37 mark. So that's like two different things that are confirming. So that would be a really nice profit area if we can keep pushing this level here. So we can go ahead and mark that 37 level out. We know that that's a deviation on a weekly, which doesn't really matter because we're a recent IPO. So it'd be more of a daily. I missed that hammer on CPIX, by the way. If you guys caught that, that's awesome. So that was what I was looking for on CPIX. I was looking for that hammer down retest. We've got positive CCI retesting the one line and taking profits into these levels as they get there. This would have to close above 459 for me to think that this is going to be bullish continuation. I would love it if it would get trapped between this 459 and 466 and maybe get some dojis and another hammer in there. That would be fantastic. Remember the end goal for this one, if we can get that continuation, is up here near 6. I'm going to keep my eye on it for sure. I think I'm going to move AHPI to my long-term grid. AHPI. Yeah, so it doesn't have any patterns. This is one of those pops and then it just sells off, and right now it's just bleeding. So there's nothing telling me that there's any reversals coming so far. So I'm going to be hands off on that one. ISPC still, and this is a good example of a range trade there, Stone. Yeah, ISPC, if you go to a 1 minute chart, which I don't trade 1 minutes, but you can see the range. Probably a little bit better in the first couple minutes of market on a 1 minute. So yeah, so if you highlight that whole area and you say, okay, when it gets to the base, PPSI is pushing. Nice. Yeah, I just took that off my charts too, like yesterday. So if you look at this as a range, you could box that whole level out and you could say, okay, this is an indecision zone. It doesn't know what it wants to do here. You could not trade it, or once it gets into those, gets into the lows, you could try to scalp it. Or once you get a hammer, you could, like ride it to VWAP. You could ride it to the 15 EMA. You could ride it to structure. You could ride it to those triple wicks or these quadruple wicks. I mean, you could just pick a target and potentially just get a quick, easy, scary 20-cent scalp inside of there somewhere. I mean, that thing moves. I mean, if you're wrong and you buy if you buy the top of that wick, you're going from 288, and that wick closed at 22.65. So that's a 20-cent scalp that now you got to sit through it, and then you got a red candle that started to 22.50. So it's like that's a 30-cent drop, and if you sit through that and you're like, man, that could drop another $2 without even blinking. That would be painful. I don't mind wiki candles. Wiki candles means to me that that there's like support and pressure. So you know that there's institutions that are actually looking at it. So you need to figure out what their plan is with it. Because retail traders like you and I, we don't manipulate the stock like the market makers do, or like bigger institutions, or whatever story you want to tell in your head. But the fact that this keeps holding up, once this level breaks, imagine all the stop orders that are going to be sitting there. Yeah. It broke. So all of these orders that were sitting here at $24, all those orders are gone. They don't exist anymore, right? Do you know why the sell orders, they don't exist anymore. Yeah. So nice. So these sell orders are gone because the wick broke that level. So if price came back through here, you could expect that there's other people that are looking at that level still that are using that as a target to get out. But the new supply zone is up here near that 2450s. Because whoever had sell orders sitting here, they just got bought out. Like we hit enough times, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, that they ate all the orders that were sitting there. Now everybody's getting nervous or getting skittish, starting to take their profits down here to, guard themselves, because a lot of people got stopped out right here that were potentially going short. So now we've broke that level to 25, and that was the target. both. If price is away from, like if I'm already in it and I need to walk away, I'll do a stop order below price. But if I can do a bracket order, I would love to do a bracket order. Keep an eye on CRXT. Yikes. If I've already taken profit and price is far enough away from my order, remember that structure that we talk about, that building on the 15 and then looking for a big move away. Once I've taken out my a bunch of profits off the table, and I'm far enough away from my entry price, I'll go ahead and put a limit order out there, especially if the stock is starting to get really crazy. I'll definitely put a limit order if I don't have that much risk on. If I have a lot of risk on, I'm hotkeying that baby. But if I've already taken some risk off and the stock is really wicky, I'll set my target with a limit order and a few cents shy of that order, because I know that I can't hotkey fast enough to get out of that spot. Like there's no way I could have limited out at $25. So having a hotkey there or having an order sitting there waiting would have been ideal. Keep an eye on CPIX here. We go ahead. I want to see if CPI. I want to see the CPIX can hit 5. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on one second. I'm looking at this CPIX still. I really want this level to hold and then continue up. I hate that we closed. You see that white line right there? Do you remember what line that is? That's that 9th pivot. Yep. So once we're below that, it's going to have a hard time getting above it. But if it can break above it, then that would be a fantastic little move on strength, hopefully to the upside. On CCI, we're a little bit extended, on our CCI here. We've got a kind of a double top. And then we've got, but we do have, the thing that I did like about it is that we have our and I need to change those settings. We have a test and a retest of 0 line. And I was looking for a third test of 0 line for that continuation. I like that pattern when it tests 3 times, but I'm still bullish on it because that was just a retest of VWAP in the 15 EMA and it held at 437. So I still want to see this come back up and retest. Where did you go? Come on. Where are you at? There we go. Beautiful. All right. Let's see what else we've got. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about it right now is that we're having a hard time staying above the 15. Really? Yikes. No doubt. Nice job. All right. CPIX is failing. It needs to hold that 437 level. CRXT. Yep. Yeah, I didn't have much that I could use on that. You know, for no, I mean that's a great pop. You kidding me? 40 cents? Yeah, that's an awesome pop. I just didn't have anything that I could have used as an entry point on it. Come on, buddy. You can curl. I'm still watching this CPIX here. It's come down and it's starting to potentially flatten, but we're testing below zero line. We're testing the 15. We don't have any structure here other than this doji right there. And we're definitely starting to fail VWAP. So that is no bueno. Come on, give us a close. I'm sitting through a little bit of red on it. I tried it up here. So that's why I'm quiet. Just FYI. Yeah, I need to practice trading and being on YouTube at the same time because I feel like I need to fill the airwaves. So PPSI right now, we're testing that lower 968 that we were looking at before. So this might be a nice little scalp opportunity from 968 to 10. Just a quick little pop back up to retest 1020s. Yeah, it just couldn't break above that VWAP, could it? Look at that. Look at that hammer there on CPIX. Like we closed right up on top of that 437. There we go. Yeah, that's why I didn't close my position yet. I was sitting through some red, but in the first, part of the market, I always position light because I don't have enough information on the day to give me enough confidence um, to take that kind of a structure. So, risk down in the first 30 minutes or so. And then once you get those patterns that we search for, then we start sizing in. So for me, the beginning, the first 30 minutes is going to be just quick scalping and then looking for patterns. Yeah. Yeah. Quick scalping on flags, quick scalping on bounces off of support, like, that potential on PPSI to quick scalp the base of that back to 10, back to 1020. You know, let's see here. Yeah, I love scalping flags and bounces. That's fun for me. Like that's that's when you just get that smile on your face, be like, ha, I didn't, it wasn't a big move, but it was that 20 cent move that I look for. And that's enough. If you get in with a little bit of size, it's $20 a pop, and you're lowering your risk by just using small shares, and it does well. So now we're looking at this white line again, right, on CPIX. So again, this is a range trade. Whenever you trade line to line, regardless of what the line is, it's a range trade. So I got in over here at this 445, and that 456, that's a 10 cent potential scalp, but I was expecting that this wick weakened that level and that we were going to continue uh, potentially to that 470 to 490 level. That's why I took that quick scalp, quote unquote, because I was expecting that bigger move, but instead it went south on me. Yes. Yep. So it's weakening a level, but you also have to remember that we're also forming lower highs right there as well. See that? So if this breaks through this level now, this 460s is going to be where I take my profit, 466. I'm going to be taking probably the majority of shares off there, knowing that that could easily wick off. So 4.60. Let's go ahead and take almost all off. All right. So now that risked off even more shares. So now what we would look for off of this level is what we look for all the time. This is a potential to be a pop up, and that sideways movement that we look for that build up on the 15 EMA for that continuation. So we've got a, if you look at this pattern, yes, it's wiki, but we tested 9, went sideways, hit the 15. So we're going to look for another 15 test and then another potential confirmation on CCI. We also have a test and rejection of the 0 line. Oops. Sorry. We also have a retest and rejection of 0 line. Come on, buddy. There we go. Trend line break on this 20. So we're looking for it to come back down, retest that line there, and or retest or double bottom off of the 0 line, right? This is really messing with me. There we go. All right, so we're also looking for a potential double bottom here. So we're looking for a double bottom here or retest. You can also think that this was just a 1, 2 retracement, pop up, flag. So we're still looking for this to be a potential flag for that continuation up. So this is still just long-term accumulation. And if you bought these dips down here at this 440s, your stop would be below these wicks. And then we're just looking for that continuation. We're still being held below this level here, but that's not always a bad thing. Because remember, once those levels get hit and they're everybody's viewing those as a really strong resistance, when sometimes you can look at them like they're holding it here so they can finish getting their fill, and then you're watching CCI for that divergence. If you're getting higher sentiment on CCI but price is going sideways, you could look at that for that potential still accumulating or consolidating, and then you're looking for that big swoop up or a big reaction off CCI before price to confirm a hammer candle off of the 9 EMA or a hammer off of the 15. So a hammer off of the 9 or the 15 would be a nice trigger on an up motion on CCI. So we're still waiting on that. I only have like quarter shares on right now. You can see that if you take these wicks out of the equation, these top wicks, you could think that we've got kind of a wedge here. All right. While that shakes out, let's see. Come on, buddy. Get back above the 15. I don't like it when it closes below the 15 like that. Usually I like those hammers over it. That shows me that that level is potentially starting to get a little bit weak. Yeah. Yeah, I just glanced at it. All right, I'm just gonna close out the rest of my position on CPIX. Wait for a better setup. I'm not liking the way that looks right there. All right, BFRI. You want me to take a look at that one? Ooh, I missed that. MTTR. And that's why I got out of it. So yeah, that's why I got out. I didn't like that candle close. And that's what I was talking about before, where if you wait too long and just pray and hope that you were right. If something just doesn't look right, just get out. Don't wait for that confirmation to flush down and get you out. My stop was down here at 432. It should have been at 430, but I already felt like if it gets to 432, that my thesis was already wrong, especially after that little candle hit there. So I just said, forget it. I'll wait for the better setup and go from there. And you can see here on PPSI, if you took that trade down there at 980, now we're testing that 1020s, the upper level. And yeah, and that's exactly what I talk about range trade. If you know where the range is, you can trade at the bottom and then trade it to the high, and then you know your previous levels are uh, potential support, and then you're selling into that old resistance and or the halt price. Pretty easy, 40 cents if I wasn't sitting there staring at stupid stuff like CPIX. All right, you said BFRI. I'll be darned if that 439 didn't hold up. Got frog in my throat. All right. So we've got structure on the 5. We've got the 100% retracement at 590. That's all good. You've got consolidation here on the 5-minute chart. You've got bad earnings today. You have 1, 2, 3 potential head and shoulders. Yeah, I mean, it's all right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so far it's a bear flag that could pop back up to 627. So that would be the only move that I'd be looking at right now. Well, I do think it's going to get, like this level does look promising for a quick pop. It hasn't really tested the 20 or the 15 EMA yet today. Oh, you stinker. CPIX got me. It went back up. It went back up. Yeah, I got out before that drop. And now we're gonna look for that slingshot where this is that build on the 15. So we still are inside of this wedge here. We are still having a hard time breaking out of it. So I'm not sold that this is going to be the move that goes. We're going to look for another retest. I'm still looking for that hammer confirmation off of one of the EMAs, and we haven't gotten that yet. So it's going to be a continued wait and see. You can see HUT hit target just now. We had an inverse head and shoulders down here. Didn't really look at it, but gold. Nice. Yeah, that thing. Whew. Probably going down to the 550s if that 577 breaks. All right, I need to cycle through some stocks and see if we can't find something that's actually doing something. I think CPIX and PPSI right here. PPSI is trying to push back to 1070. PPSI looks like yeah, there it goes. Looks like the most promising. And there's that test of that angular. That was my target. And got me out just to go there. Yay. Yeah, I think you're right. Yep. Yep. I'll be right back. Ah, all right, I'm back. The UPS guy. Yeah. He made me FOMO. It's funny. It's funny how just stupid things. Yeah, it's funny how stupid things like that get you in trouble. All right, so I'm gonna keep my eye on C. Trying to find a decent entry here. We haven't tested the high of pre-market yet. We had that nice consolidation. It was a nice cup and handle from pre-market. You can see here we've got inverse head and shoulders. I still don't think that we're done yet. That's the 10. It just does not like that open range. All right, so we popped up, consolidation, consolidation, pop up. All right, that's the first death candle. We've got 1, 2, 3. That's a higher. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to. Hit a reset button on that one. That one's got me flustered. Let's look at it on the 5-minute. See if it tells us anything. It's just a big old fat wedge. A, B, C, D flag. What's that? My rank? $34. There you go, Stone. There's that move on BFRI you were looking for. Nice job. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go back to my. Yeah. There's 21. There's your 20, 27. I know it keeps faking me out. So I'm going to go ahead and go through some of the scans that I've been ignoring all day because I've been staring at that stupid thing. It's 10:23, so it's time to start changing gears. Keep an eye on CPIX for sure. That definitely has really good potential. It's just holding this 437 level like exactly, and it's frustrating. Let's see. EYRP, not really there yet. Looks like everything that was on the morning scanner has been retracing down. Hey, Alex, your mic is really staticky. Earwax. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. It's a heck of a pop there on Prague. All right, so let's take a look at this one here. We've got obvious levels. We got old levels here at 352, which is pretty obvious. We've got a first test above and then came back below this this deviation. You guys know how I feel about popping up and below. You got a kind of a control candle here. So let's look for a continuation back to 364. Potentially to 370 to 380. These are the 10 pivots that we talk about, and this is on a 5-minute chart. Let's see, we've got levels up there at 418. Those are old levels. I don't know if we need to redraw those yet. Yeah, that was a good eye there. Good eye there, Stone. You said you mentioned Prague earlier, but I was busy looking at that CPIX garbage. Oh, was it Alex? Yep. So I mean, this is pretty much the same stuff that we look at with supply and demand all the time. Is that first pop up, then we're looking for that selling pressure, that first sell pressure brings us back down to, where we're potentially accumulating. Yeah, I've been watching that one the last couple days, but I don't know how much I want to actually watch it. All right. Yeah, today's been kind of a crapshoot for me this morning. It's that YouTube stress. I do. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that BKKT looks nice. What an easy trade every time every time it dips. Let's see, PROG. We need a break above that line. We're holding the high, which is nice. We've got our open range right here. We did a little indecision between open range and that standard deviation. So let's see if we get a confirmation on CCI, which we don't yet because we've got a pop up and we've got a potential sell trigger here. And then the next pop up to the positive 100 is usually a bearish sell sign. But we're not quite we're above the 9 though. So it has one thing going for it. We have a trend break here, a retest. So let's see if we get a hammer and a potential confirmation off of the open range here. I know it's just sitting there, just building. You could also look at that on CPIX, like exiting. Even it, I mean, it looks that way, but it doesn't feel right because we're not at the highs. Usually that exiting happens at the highs. So down here, the lows, it's not really, doesn't make sense that this would be exiting just yet. So they're just, they could just be holding it here, waiting to just trap and just liquidate all traders, all retail, trying to, do what traders do is buy the highs and then get stopped out, buy the highs, stopped out, buy the highs, stopped out. it's human nature to, that FOMO is real. So they're potentially using that to their advantage while they could be accumulating a position here right off that 15 EMA. And we just have chop, chop, chop. So it's really tough to trade something that just has that chop and doesn't have any real direction. You see, like none of the CCIs are really showing much direction other than this rejection, this double bottom here on the negative 100 on the 20 CCI. So you could look at this peak right here, this 1, 2, and the break of that little hump. You could look at that as potentially being bullish and look for that continuation again back up to the high. But with how choppy this is, it just doesn't have a whole lot for me to take down there other than using just demand. That being said, it's got to break one of these times, right? Yeah. All right. I'm not gonna jump into this one just yet. I missed my entry down below. If I was gonna enter on this, there's a little a test and then a little bit of a flag right here. But again, it's not flagging on anything that I could use. So it's just going to be a sit and wait for that level to actually hold, not just, trade and chop. I need that hammer confirmation. All right. So again, like I said, I need to just ignore it and start cycling through some stocks. I might go ahead and end the stream on YouTube. And just hang out in the room for a little bit and search for something that's meeting my criteria. I keep hitting that CPIX button. Yeah, that AG looks nice though. Yeah, that BKKT is awesome. Like that was just a nice like pop, 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 pop. CNTX. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and end this stream. Not really seeing a whole lot that I like that setting up, except for that BKKT that you guys are talking about. That thing was really, really nice. Oh, there was another one that I was watching. Where'd it go? KOLD. I think I took FSR off. FSR was trading nice too this morning, but yeah, that came back down. Yeah, and I need to figure out why my platform's running slow after that upgrade. I don't have all the same settings as I used to. Yeah. So I'm going to keep an eye on KOLD here. It's that we hit target once, but we're kind of flagging again. So I want to see if that's going to potentially keep moving up. It's kind of trading similar to HUT, but it's a little bit different. Yeah, I think we need to just, pump the gas and wait for a better setup. But so I'm going to do that. I just got my phone and my new tablet in the mail, so I want to play with those for a hot minute, wait for things to settle, and I'm going to be in the group chatting and seeing if we can't find something that's actually setting up rather than looking at that hot garbage. Yeah, hot garbage. So I'll catch you guys in the trade room.